Hello and welcome to today's Hellraiser blog. Please, if you like the blog, hit the subscribe button. Today's fight I'm going to look at is Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Brief introduction. Deontay Wilder, 40-0 with 39 knockouts. Tells you something about his punching power. 6'7". I anticipate he'll come in at about 224 pounds. He's a former Olympic bronze medalist, hence named the Bronze Bomber, and he's a current WBC World Heavyweight Champion. Against Tyson Fury, 27-0 with 19 stoppages, height of 6'9". I anticipate Fury will come in around 254 pounds. Call him the Gypsy King. He has a reach of 216 centimetres. Problem number one for Wilder, he's going to be fighting someone with a much longer reach who can box. It's all one thing fighting someone with a longer reach who's not such a good boxer, but Fury can box. That's one thing we can say for sure. You outbox Vladimir Klitschko, you can box. Okay, so Wilder possibly is the hardest punching boxer in the world at the moment. 39 KOs in 40 fights. I only ever once saw him in the flesh. It was up in Nottingham. He boxed against Audley Harrison, the former Olympic Games gold medalist. He flattened Audley in one round. What I was particularly impressed with Wilder that day, he looked wild, but actually what he did was very clever to stop Audley. He brought his left hand, he brought it across again and punched Audley's front hand with it, and then caught him with a right hand, and it only took one punch and Audley was completely all at sea, and the fight ended very quickly after that. And I don't think a lot of people notice that, but I mean, the fight's on YouTube, you can see it, and exactly what he does, very clever. And I think he's underrated as a boxer, Deontay Wilder, because he looks clumsy, because he looks crude. When he's got opponents in trouble, we've seen this sort of Captain Windmill tactic he's got, which I don't think any boxing coach in the world would ever advise any young boxer to follow. But what he actually does is a lot cleverer than what he looks like he's doing sometimes. So it's not all about these big clumsy punches. Watch the Audley stoppage. Very clever what he does. And I saw it as it happened. I thought, wow, this guy, that was clever. He's not just a load of hot air. He can fight. He can box. He's got a very tricky, calculating mind. Wilder sometimes launches what look like quite clumsy attacks. He comes flying in from out of range. I think he's got a very good jab, and I think he uses the jab as a decoy to land the right hand. If you see the fight that Wilder had against Luis Ortiz, Ortiz used a lot of movement southpaw, admittedly, and look, Fury might end up boxing southpaw, we don't know. But Ortiz went south, well, Ortiz is a southpaw, kept moving to his right, kept a high right hand, constantly moving to the right, which obviously negates the right hand because Wilder's right hand couldn't connect because Ortiz was moving away from it the whole time. Wilder ended up going very gun-shy in that fight, and I think Tyson Fury can certainly take something from that and use it to his advantage because for me, Ortiz blew out. He ran out of steam, and when he ran out of steam, then Wilder got to him. But before he ran out of steam, Wilder couldn't get close to Ortiz. Ortiz was like half a step ahead of him most of the fight. Obviously there were some rocky moments in there, but the way Ortiz boxed gave a blueprint, gave to me a tactic that works very well against Wilder. And Fury, we've seen him look in terrible shape more recently. Then he sort of started to come down in weight. I mean, I'm anticipating he'll come in here about 254 pounds. If Fury can come in at 254 and he is in good shape and he has the stamina to box through 12 rounds, he can definitely outbox Wilder. And so that means that Wilder's under pressure from the start to get in close, to get maybe to the body first and get his right hand on target, which is easier said than done against Fury, I can tell you. Even though Wilder is often like he's off balance, he looks a little bit wild, it only takes one shot from him and that can turn the whole fight around. Wilder, he sometimes, a bit like Lennox Lewis used to, likes to put his front hand on the opponent, and I think that's a tactic he can use against Fury, because Fury's movement is phenomenal. And if he can put his left hand on him and then, boom, bring the right hand across, that's a surefire way, or it's a better chance of hitting the opponent rather than following him around the ring at long range. Wilder often drops his front hand. which if Fury does go southpaw and move to the right, and which he often does, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he starts doing it against Wilder. Wilder's low left hand is going to be a big problem, because Fury then will get his right hand over the top and keep pecking away, and that will be a problem, because Wilder, we know, has to come forwards. He can't sit off the back foot or he gets outboxed, that's for sure. He needs to come forwards, he needs to cut the ring off, he needs to get engaged with Fury and get Fury to engage back with him. So Tyson Fury, incidentally, I sourced his first ever opponent in the professional boxing ring, Biela Gyongyosi, a cruiserweight from Hungary who came in and got unceremoniously stopped in a round. But it was Tyson Fury, who already was making noise. He was an ABA champion, was like a future big star, which he then became. Okay, so Tyson Fury, extremely fast. In fact, both of these guys are fast, but Tyson Fury is extremely fast and agile for a guy of that size. I mean, he towers above me. Whenever I've met him, he's very unusual. I mean, I'm 6'3½". He's like bigger than me. So, Fury against Klitschko. I mean, Fury is a master at disrupting the pace and almost like playing mind games, if you like. Once the boxing actually starts against Klitschko, he made Klitschko look like he was like a rabbit in headlights. Klitschko seemed to not know which direction to move in, he couldn't settle down into his boxing at all. And it seemed like Fury really relished that. He enjoyed it. He could read it as it was happening. He knew that he was half a step ahead, and he used those tactics to great effect. The movement, the swapping of lefty to righty, the changing the angles constantly, and the lateral foot and head movement that he used in that fight, and in fact that he uses all the time, are a big problem. And they'll be a big problem for Fury, for Wilder, if Wilder cannot get the measure of Fury, if he has to play catch up, because then you're going to see Wilder charging in, and Fury can then pick him off. If there's a big if Fury is in good shape and can last 12 rounds, because we just seen Luis Ortiz really drag Wilder into a dogfight, and Wilder couldn't get close to him for the first sort of 5 or 6 rounds. He struggled. He was playing catch up the whole time. The second half of the fight, when Ortiz starts to fray at the edges and really very quickly went out like a light, the quality of his boxing, then we saw him. We saw Wilder really get to grips with him. But before then, Wilder was very gun shy. He went very quiet. He was like following him around the ring and possibly losing a lot of rounds. And if Fury is fit, if he can drop the weight and be fit for 12 rounds, then I think Wilder really has a big issue. Because then we know that Wilder has to land that big shot and probably has to get to grips with him early, get inside, get the big body shots in there. Of course, Ortiz is a southpaw, so that also plays a bit into the awkwardness. But we don't know with Fury if he's going to be orthodox or southpaw. He can box, but he's ambidextrous. He can box both ways. When Wilder could not land his jab, he really struggled, and I think Fury has a perfect resume, if you like, to be one of those fighters that he really struggles to land his jab against. If he can't get the jab through, then I think it's Fury's fight to win. You know, unless Fury does something daft and throws it away, Fury can definitely win this fight. It's certainly not a foregone conclusion. I hope, for Fury's sake, that he will come in and that he will be able to last the pace that he'll need to box at, because Wilder, believe it or not, he's going to really put it on Fury. You're going to see Fury under pressure that we've never seen him, even in the Klitschko fight. We've never seen Fury under pressure like he will be in this fight. I think Fury needs to kill the pace, keep it slow. There are some things, again, that I don't know, that I'm going to try and find out. The size of the ring. Because a small ring will massively favour Wilder, a big ring will massively favour Fury. I hope we get a big ring, but we need to see that before we can ascertain a real prediction on the fight. Because if they are in a small ring, I think it's a lot easier for Wilder to get to Fury. We saw, like in the Klitschko Fury fight, Klitschko actually became very hesitant, and I think Fury will become the fighter that he was that night, again against Wilder. I think he'll look to establish a very sort of stop-start pattern, to land his jab. Rafael Zambano, that I used to manage, he's predicted Fury will outbox Wilder, then Wilder will knock him out. I'm actually going to go for Fury on points. Guys, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you again on the Hellraiser blog. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.